No clickbait. This isn't some chain breaker, trickle charger, tire eye, run-of-the-mill list you've heard before. These are 7 special tools to dwarf your wrenching time. No clickbait. Gasket sheets save amateur wrenches big time and money. And considering that to go anywhere in an engine is to go through gaskets, surprisingly few of us use these. See, fitted gaskets are pricey, and they put your repair on hold while you wait for shipping, and if you mess anything up, going back on your work means tearing open that brand new gasket, ordering another, waiting another week. The alternative... Seizure. Gasket sealant is a mechanic's magic juice, not because it works, but because it has a nasty habit of oozing out of place and into tiny oil passageways.
This turns a $15 home repair into a $1,000 bill at the shop. Cha-ching.
So the $4 trick mechanics hate is gasket material. Rubber, cellulose, fiber, cork, thick and thin, small and large. Anyone can cut their own gaskets for cheap, safely sealing water, gas, hot oil.
And oily parts pressed to paper leave perfect outlines. I can cut as many as I need right when I need them for whatever parts poor machine I'm working on at 3 in the morning.
The pin wrench, a tool so obscure you didn't even realize that's not a pin wrench, it's a medieval rectal speculum, because this is a pin wrench. You may also call it a rotor holder, flywheel holder, clutch basket holder, a sprocket holder if you haven't got a jam gear handy. Almost anything spinny can be gripped and wrenched on with one of these. Now, general use motorcycle tools are rarer than a 7-foot tall leprechaun, but with 230 to 13 millimeters of range, this pin wrench can pinch more stuff than a 7-foot tall leprechaun. Watch what happens to this stuck-on oil filter. For $44, it is crude. The handle could be longer, wider, and softer given the hand-bruising torque values of rotor bolts. And rather than offering interchangeable pin sizes, Motion Pro simply stuck little ones on top of the big ones. That's a bit like forcing Marc Marquez to carry Jorge Lorenzo around as a pillion. Sure, it's better for racing in general, but you're taking a bit of functionality away from your primary guy. Now, most motorcycles start life as aluminum and end life as butter. Even a gentle touch can strip soft metal threads. The usual answer is to tap it larger, but then you're left with a random assortment of bolt sizes, and the new threads are even weaker than the old ones. So every motorcyclist should keep Heli coils around. This thread repair reclaims the original bolt size, only the threads are now steel and stronger than ever. One of my motorcycle mentor's old bikes was like 50% Heli coils by the time he, unfortunately, passed away.
$30 from a basic hardware store and basic to use. You do have to bore the hole a bit larger, but odds are your ham-fisted attempts on the old threads have already done that. Whatever drill size you need will be etched onto the tap provided. Because the springy coil compresses during insertion, it grips the aluminum tighter, especially during heat cycle expansions, than the original bolt. Ta-da! Gradated spring tension also evens the force distribution across the threads, another reason Heli Coil repairs are better than new.
These have saved many of my projects. They even offer salvation from the mortal sin of stripping an oil or spark plug thread. So, every motorcyclist should join Heli Coil's huge fan base. Whatever, just be sure to fish out the metal shavings when you're done. Pickup tool. We've all lost a nut somewhere tight, somewhere dark, somewhere it's not supposed to be.
I once dropped a Woodruff key into the transmission case of my KLR 650. I actually hoped a comet would strike the earth before I had to undo a day's work to retrieve it.
But instead, I ordered this $7 tool from Amazon and fished out the fugitive. Every mechanic should have one, but a cheap one? Or a fancy laser-etched blue aluminum one for $20?
Well, around 200 grams, the fancy pickup tool doesn't, while my bargain beauty keeps hoisting up to a ½ kilo. Not that we habitually drop pounds of metal into our engines, but when probing the darkness, close is king. Moto vloggers will also appreciate the extra strength.
Nah, I'm just kidding. It's the tool itself that could be mounted on my motorcycle. At least the fancy rubberized one that isn't gonna get all scratchy. You should consider this guy. It gives us an extra hand to hold unneeded sockets. Unneeded because my T-wrench already holds the big 3. 8, 10, 12 mil. 95% of my TC90 can be fixed with what's in my hand. Every motorcyclist should own one of these. They also threw in a 13 mil? Extra inexplicable considering there's nowhere to keep it. If anything, I'd have preferred to get an Allen socket. Using Allen keys is self-flagellation.
Oh well, for 20 bucks, the 4 precisely machined sockets included are already a deal. Never mind the beautifully welded, heavier than average T-bar. One side to brake, the other to twirl. This is the efficient tool for bikes. And while it could be done the old-fashioned way,
why? Now, Motion Pro makes useful stuff, like that tri-drive, but they also made this useless torque wrench adapter for $70.
the idea is that when you can't get a regular torque wrench in position, you use a combination wrench and clamp this adapter to it. As long as you stay at 90 degrees to the moment arm, the reading will come out right.
I love the idea of this. There are some seriously talented home mechanics who claim to feel the difference between 10 and 15 Newton meters, but there are even more actual mechanics who always use a damn torque wrench, so yeah, I love the idea of facilitating best practices. But I can save $70 and do it with a luggage scale. Torque is a force and a distance. You want 5 foot-pounds, okay. Your Allen key is maybe 3 inches long. Then you need 20 pounds on the fish scale at 90 degrees.
It's that easy.
And I can pull anything with this. Meanwhile, the $70 clamp struggles to fit around the biggest and the smallest of my tools. You don't need that. You should own this. Finally, we'll get a lot of comments about the contentious JIS screwdriver. Screw Phillips heads. These have chamfered edges. Why? Because it makes it easy for a sleepy assembly line worker to center a tool with their eyes closed.
Rounded edges also throw out the driver before line workers can over-torque anything. Phillips were literally designed to strip. In the real world, we're left fighting this cam-out feature, ruining every stuck screw on our motorcycles.
The Japanese industrial standard did it differently. JIS screws are more of a true cross, kind of like Frierson. They grip more securely, putting more power into a mechanic's hand to choose their own damn torque.
The JIS standard has been defunct since '08, but Japan is still making JIS drivers for the moment. Hurry to buy one because a lot of the hardware on your bike is probably JIS.
Not every JIS screw has a dot on it, but it doesn't matter. My bikes are a melange of Phillips and Japanese industrial, and I strip fewer of both with a good JIS driver.
See the Phillips cam out of both screws? Now watch the JIS driver.
added bonus with these vessel tools is the impact function. As I hit it, right when the downward gripping force peaks and the shock rattles the screw threads loose, this shaft turns 12 degrees counterclockwise.
Huge benefit for breaking stuck-on screws.
So that's 7 tools every motorcyclist should own. I hope you enjoyed it.